3000.
What is doing? My name is Maloney. This is the 3000 podcast. Today, I'm joined by a DJ Kodiak Kid. Thanks for coming, man.
Hey man, nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
You too, dude.
Thanks for having us in.
Yeah, for sure, man. You made the trek here from the north side. Was it all right?
Yeah, Resi. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's a straight drive, but
Good stuff. All right, man. So let's kick this off. You're now located in Resi, but where did you grow up and how did you become the Kodiak Kid?
So I grew up in Prahran Flats,
Yep.
just in Essex Street Flats, across the road from the Prahran Pool.
Skate park?
Yeah, skate park. So yeah, when it was the Prahran Bowl. So I moved there when I was like 4 years old from like Brunswick area.
Yeah.
It was just me and my mum, single mum. And yeah, so grew up across the road from the bowl and just started sort of, hanging out there and got a skateboard, started skating and met a whole bunch of mates, down at Prahran Bowl. And yeah, sort of went to South Yarra Primary School, met a whole bunch of other sort of friends there who was skating as well.
Yep.
And and then sort of just it went through that like the Taz Pappas and Ben Pappas era. Watched them skating.
Yep.
Used to hang out down at the ramp and those guys were sort of just taking off. They just
Dom too.
Dom Kekich, Trav Purcell, and like Tony Hallam, and we used to sit on the ramp and they used to do airs over us and then sort of got to the point where first dropped in on the Prahran ramp. I think it was like 9 or 10 dropped in the ramp.
Not rolled in, dropped in.
Nah, dropped in. Yeah, before it was they got the
roll.
rolling. Yeah. And then you had the classic the snake in the background and Prahran Bowl. But yeah, that's where I grew up in Prahran Bowl and met like Jace Ridgway, all the blank guys, and sort of met all Danny Mesk and all those guys down in Prahran and blank and
So what year are we talking?
So it would have been like 90, 95, maybe 94.
Interesting time for skateboarding too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So it's around then. Yeah, 95, 94, 95. So it was like obese, records, over there and
Prahran's a cultural hub, man.
Yeah,
Everyone's
man.
coming from everywhere to go to Prahran.
Yeah, no, it was such a good place to grow up. Obviously had its ups and downs with lots of poverty and broken homes, and I saw a lot of shit you shouldn't see when you're
Especially
in your 40s.
Your front yard.
Yeah, and also just living in the flats, multiple people die and stuff. I'd seen people OD and things like that. Heroin was it was hectic. I saw so many people OD like in the basketball courts or in the flats or it was a lot. But when you're that young, it's sort of you just. I was lucky enough that my mum was, super, good loving, from there. So a lot of other people weren't so lucky. But yeah, so a lot of people come and go. A lot of people that I used to hang out with from 6 to 12 years old, 13, and a lot of people are either still there or they died or they're overdose or it was pretty full on. Yeah.
Crazy, man. Yeah, I grew up around the sort of Port Melbourne, St Kilda area, and similar thing in St Kilda, man.
Yeah.
Heroin was everywhere, but you just kind of just did your thing and
when you're that young, you kind of just it doesn't really phase you.
Yeah.
You see it a lot, and then you just sort of you grow up around it, and it's only when you're older, you're sort of like it's pretty hectic. Not many people, I guess. Get to see a lot of things like that. So
for sure, man. So when you get into skating, you sort of had no choice. You had to be into skating. You lived across the road. It's essentially your front yard. So what kind of did someone hook you up with a setup, or you remember your first board, or how you actually got into it?
Yeah, I had a couple mates in primary school who were skating, and then they started skating. So we were pretty good friends, and then they ended up going to Christian Brothers College, St Kilda, where a lot of kids from my primary school went. And
heaps of mates from there, yeah.
So yeah, heaps of mates who went there. Just got a skateboard. And plus also down at Prahran Bowl, it was kind of like my mum used to take me there because when I was younger, and there was always like hits of riffraff at the bowl, people swearing and all this kind of stuff. I used to go down, and I used to have my little BMX bike, and there was other kids on rollerblades and things like that, and I didn't really like fucking rollerblades and like I wasn't that very good at BMX, and then skating was just fucking sick.
It was just
and then just from there just started skating, and that was just every day.
Do you remember your first setup?
Yeah, the first setup was this skate shop. I think it was called not ballistic. Was there a ballistics on Chapel Street? It was like I don't know if it was called ballistics.
I think there was.
It was on. Yeah, it was. Anyway, it was near where like KFC. Just on that. On the other side.
MSD with Melbourne Sports Depot used to be there as well.
So there was a skate shop there. This was before Evolve, and then so I think it was like it was a leprechaun. It was a flip leprechaun board.
Yeah.
And maybe some, I don't know, independent trucks and something like that. But that was my first setup.
Flip's back, I think, man.
Yeah, it is back, yeah. It's cool. So I think, I got that. Yeah, that was my first setup. I think I was like 9. I think it was 9 or something. Mm-hmm. But before that, when I moved there, I used to just go down on a bike and stuff and things like that. But it was 8 or 9, And that's the first setup I had.
And then you start skating, are you learning tricks, man? You just rolling around?
Yeah, it was just
straight into it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because I mean, like it was there, and then it was watching, Ben Pappas and Taz Pappas and all those guys skating, Dom Kekic and like we'll just and then me and my mates would just be rolling street skating just around like Prahran area, Windsor. Used to hang around Windsor, Prahran, sort of Balaclava, and just street skate. And then down at the bowl every day, just learning how to ollie and do the snake run, and
that's all there was.
That's all there was, the snake run and the bank, and also it was Jason Ridgway. I was like watching that guy skate. He was like a bit of an idol. I was a bit of an idol of mine. So he was watching him skate, and there's the hip from the snake run into the bowl. Yeah. So just like doing big like sort of ollies over that, and it was just that's where I learned to skate.
That's all there was there.
That's all it was, just the ramp and but it was such an awesome place to like, hang out. Yeah, it was cool.
It's like some days someone might bring like a bin down or something like a little extension, and that's all you really had to work with.
Exactly, just getting air over the bin. And that was it. Yeah, I've got photos. Yeah, I've got some old like Polaroid photos of me doing like nose grabs out of the bowl, and like I mean, it was so small. Yeah,
ollie over a trolley or something.
Over a trolley, and putting them over the hip and doing an ollie over the hip and over the trolley that was on the and then coming out and. Yeah, and there was that tiny little handrail as well that went into the triangle thing. You used to like, run up and do a board slide down.
All you could do is like a little bonk on it because it was so short, man.
Yeah, totally, yeah. And they had the wooden bench, and you had the bench there, and you just hang out there. Yeah, it was such a cool place to grow up. It was good fun. Sure. It was good fun.
And have you been back? Like it looks like it's almost ready to go.
Yeah. So then they demolished it and it turned into the skate, Prahran skate.
They put a mini ramp in there for a bit.
Yeah, they had the mini ramp. Yeah. So that mini ramp was cool, and then they built the big vert ramp. Yeah. And I remember. I used to drop in that. I never rolled in on it. But I used to just drop in and do some rock to fakies and stuff like that. But I was never much of a vert skater. But the skate park was awesome. That changed a lot of things for the good, and the basketball had the basketball courts there, and they kept going, and the skate park there, and that's when it was sort of like hang out there every day. Got a little bit older, in your teenage years, and just hanging out there, and just doing tags and just skating there and drinking. Because I remember when I used to go there when I was like 7 or 8. And then there'd be all the older guys there that used to skate, and they'd all be drinking, and my mum would be like, they'd be swearing, and be like, my mum used to tell them off and stuff. It was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing. And then it was kind of like years later down the track, that was like me and my mates. We were the ones drinking at the skate park and hanging out and things like that. So, but a lot of those older guys that we were skating with, so some of my best mates from primary school, those guys, they were like maybe like their late 20s, and they used to take us on road trips around Victoria, and they used to skate, and they used to just take us, and we were like 12, 13, And they used to just take us on road trips all around, and they got to know our mums and stuff like parents and that.
Cool.
And they used to just like kind of look after us, and they were cool and like kind of give us our first beers and things like that. But they were really good. They were good role models because like a lot of us never really had father figures back then, so it was kind of like. Yeah, so going around with them and now it's taking us into skate parks. It was really good. Yeah.
It is sort of interesting with skating that you'll see some dude who's 40 hanging out with a kid who's 12, and they're like and they've got skating in common, man. That's all they fucking need.
No, totally, yeah. It's even now like I don't skate as much as I used to, like because everyone's sort of parted ways and everyone's doing their own thing. No one's really skating as much anymore, but. Starting to skate again, I just started going like we got just reconnecting with some other friends who were skating, and even just I've been going by myself, and you go down to the skate park and then you just like you meet people and it's just like the same like-minded people, like what's up, how you going, and then you start seeing them again. It's just like there's just like that camaraderie with skateboarding. It's so good. You don't have to you can just become friends with someone because you just they're just there and it's like what's up. And,
for sure.
It's cool.
And it's cool because it's not overly competitive and people just want to see other people get tricks and improve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so different to a lot of other fucking sports where it's all about competitiveness.
Yeah, I mean, I guess skateboarding is becoming. It's like it's pretty full on now. Like
in certain aspects.
But yeah, I guess it's come so far, which is awesome. I watch skate videos now. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like,
crazy.
It's nuts. Like what people are doing now, and I still watch skate videos all the time. And there was a period, like we actually, me and my mates when Evolve opened up. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what year that was.
Because it was SMC in the city, and
SMC
then it was SMC Evolve.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we used to go down, and then we used to catch the tram into the sale yards. I remember, my mum used to like get on the tram with me and my other mates, and like that'd be fucking embarrassing as well. It was like just taking us all the way to the city, and then we just started going our own. It was like catch the tram to the city and go to the sale yards, and that sale yards that was an eye opener. I learned how to I was still like pretty new to it.
Yeah, 96 I think that opened.
Was it not?
96.
Yeah. So I reckon and then it sort of when did it close?
I think 2000.
2000, yeah. So I reckon I was there, maybe skated there, maybe a couple of years or something before it shut down. Yeah, that was awesome. It was so awesome as well. Yeah.
And that's when you start to like obviously Prahran, you're sort of meeting people south side, people from St Kilda, people from that sort of town are going there. But when you go to the city, you're starting to meet people from Kensington, from Brunswick.
Yeah,
it's a different sort of thing.
Totally, yeah. And we used to then go to Fitzy Bowl, and we'd spend so much time after school, go to Fitzy Bowl, catch the tram from Prahran, go all the way to Fitzy, and we'd spend every day at Fitzy Bowl, and we got to know all the locals at Fitzy Bowl. I'm still kind of like still friends with some of the old school skaters, and they're like Spike and Paddy Buchanan and all those kind of Latin and all those kind of skaters, and I still like bump into those guys every now and then, and it's cool, just still seeing people are still skating, and even like bumping into Jeremy more recently, through my the Posse Shot boys. I was seeing him, I was like, oh, what, man, I've seen him. And I've got like old videotapes of when he was like fucking, like 12 or whatever. And it's just like, bumping in and reconnecting with him again, seeing him just filming and skating and friends with those guys. And it's just cool that it's just, just skating just brought so many new friendships, through the culture in Melbourne,
And that in that mid-90s was a really interesting time for skateboarding because it changed and pushed away from the vert. The street skating fucking really took over. But also, it was like it went from being something that was kind of like, all right, did you skate, to everyone fucking skated.
Yeah, totally.
Like, and if you were into it beforehand, you had the leg up. But every kid had a skateboard.
Yeah, totally.
And that was just the fucking pop culture thing. If you were into it before that, you were like, I can already ollie. I can already do these.
Yeah, totally, yeah. And if anyone, and we just, there's just like, we hated people who rollerbladed or like scooted more, because there was a time where there was like some of the best bladers that were down at Prahran, and they were like probably some of Hayden and Chris. There was a few other guys, and they were like the pros in Melbourne, Victoria. And we used to party with them. They used to have this house that was like on just off Greville Street, Is It Street.
Yeah.
There was the park is next to Safeway, and they had this house there that was there, and we used to just go and party with them all the time, and they were cool. It was like we were good friends, and they were like the best. They're like the best bladers in Melbourne. But
Gino Taylor's joint was just near there.
Yeah, it was Conrad and a couple of guys. I don't know if you remember those guys. But anyway, they had this house, and it was basically on the street, and you just sit out the front and just get wasted and get on the park, and So lots of lifetime long friends from some of those guys as well.
Man, I'd love to talk to an ex-pro rollerblader. That'd be sick.
Yeah, I know a few of them. Yeah.
Because there was this whole thing of rollerbladers and skaters, but at the end of the day, you have a beer and who fucking cares?
Nah, there was definitely a few that were dicks, and you're like, you call them fruit booters. I remember telling someone recently, and they're like, "That's the best name I've ever heard." Yeah, fruit booters. Yeah.
So from the skating, you're meeting a lot of other people, and then you sponsorship. That's what every kid wanted to do in the 90s.
Yeah.
You wanted to get sponsored, even if it just meant getting some T-shirts and boards or whatever.
Yeah,
that was the goal. Yeah.
But it was like we were all getting pretty good at skating, kind of, River Slide when that opened, and then Fitzy Bowl, and just getting pretty good. And we used to film a lot of skate videos as well. Mm-hmm. So the guys that would take us out, shout outs to Rodos. They used to do a lot of filming and take us out on trips, and we'd make skate videos.
Yep.
But when Evolve opened, I remember we went in there and we drew them. Me and my mates drew them little pictures of World Industries. We had all these flame boys, and we used to draw all these pictures and brought them in. We used to just go in there and they would hook us up with the local Evolve decks and then they gave us a little light sponsorship of. Yeah, just the Evolve brand and things like that, and get some T-shirts and things like that, just from skating down Prahran Bowl and just coming.
But you've made it as a kid, then you're we're sponsored.
Yeah, totally, yeah. And then you sort of we just kept skating, and then it was kind of discovered, sort of started partying a bit, and then skating kind of dropped off a bit. I feel like we all could have become pro. I feel like a lot of people you could become a pro skater if you just stick to it and do it. A lot of people, were really good at it, but it's just that determination of just going for it.
It is. It's
because we watched a lot of people become pros, like Shane O'Neill Nugget. We used to skate with him.
He's bored up there.
There you go. Yeah, we used to skate with him, and and lots of other.
He was on another level.
He was on another level, because everyone else was just rat bags, and we all skate together. But he was always just sort of by himself, and he was friends with everyone, but he was just winning the comps and super determined. Where everyone else was sort of just skating sick, but probably getting drunk, and he wasn't really partying or anything like that.
No.
Doing what 14 and 15-year-olds. So he was just super focused.
Yeah,
and
it shows.
Look where he's now. Good on him. It's he was always going to be pro, that dude. So we always knew it. So yeah,
it's you see a lot with that sort of skating, that people have the potential, and then they get to 18, 19, where booze and all the other things come along with it.
Yeah.
But the people that stay focused, they're generally the ones that reap the rewards.
Yeah, totally.
People would be dropping off left, right, and centre. I'm imagining.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely, man. Yeah.
Is Shorts filming with you at this time as well?
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, Shorts was around. Yeah. He was filming. Yeah, and then there was the Mapstone guys and. But we were just filming with our mate Rodos and our local guys from Prahran Bowl. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Prahran Skate Park happened, and then,
where does music fit into this?
So, I guess it was, kind of the same. So, we were doing graph as well. So I guess, going to high school and then meeting Jordan, Cinch, and then his brothers, and then started sort of graphing around 13, 14.
Because a lot of riders at that school, man.
A lot. The whole of TKO was, most of them were there, and then there was that connection. There was all people from Elwood, so you had people who lived in Prahran Flats, and then there was Balaclava, St Kilda. So Elwood College, where a lot of there was some FMC guys and TKO guys there as well, meeting and then looking at his older brothers, second, Mick and all that, and and then sort of just that was just started sort of fucking tagging up diaries, and I remember getting suspended every week because you couldn't read my diary because it was just covered in tags, But yeah, I guess from there, yeah, then, you know, just, I met a mate, so I guess it was around sort of 18, and we were all, you know, fucking heavily graphing a lot, and then, yeah, me and my mate here were, like, really into, like, DJ craze and turntablism, watching sort of turntablism videos.
Yep.
And my mate's like, oh, there's this, like, 2-for-1 DJ course. It's like, it was run by DJ KC in the city, United DJ Mixing School.
Yeah.
And it was like this Christmas deal. It was like, should we do it? And I was like, oh, it's 2-for-1. It was like a Christmas deal. I was like, yeah, let's give it a go. And we went and did it. And yeah, and then like bought turntables halfway through it. And you had to, you know, win it was like a comp, like in a club. You had to do it, put it together like a half an hour set. Mm-hmm. And yeah, then I think it came second in that into the club. And yeah, bought turntables. And that was like halfway during year 12. So it was like 2006. And then I basically failed, or I've passed, but like as soon as I started, you know, messing around with turntables and buying vinyl and mixing tunes and scratching and stuff, I was like, I kind of knew what I wanted to. I knew I wanted to do it, pursue it further. I wasn't like, you know, I want to be like this famous, but I was just like, I just want to do this. It's sick.
A lot of record stores around that area at that time too, man. They were everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. You know, there was, you know, going to Obese and there was DMC and Wax Museum as well. Like, you know, I remember going in there when I was like 18 and going in, and then Hilltop Hoods were in there. And they were like, they bought like fucking about 100 vinyls, and I was just talking to Safa, and he was like, oh, I'm like, I just started out, I just bought an MPC, and I just, you know, just started DJing, and he was like, yeah, just keep doing it, man, sick. And he was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know how I used to afford buying vinyl. Like when I was that young, I was working at a bar job, and I'd spend like $500 a week on vinyl. But you just did because you know.
But after was here yesterday, she said the exact same thing. That's why she started working at Dixon's, so she could just get cheaper records.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But
because the thing is, man, like obviously now times have changed a little bit, but a 12-inch single, right, would still cost you like $25 back then.
Yeah, totally.
And you're talking early 2000s. That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, man. So much money. Yeah. Especially, you know, for a young kid, you know, just doing it. Yeah. You know, even on Centrelink as well. So, yeah.
So you decided that that's kind of going to be your path. School, whatever. I'm just going to focus on the music thing. There's a lot of fucking music stores around. You're just buying records, and you think, okay, I'm going to make a fucking go of this.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, just, you know, finished year 12 barely, and then, you know, we're still running around, you know. I think by that time I moved from Prahran to South Melbourne South Melbourne sort of Commission Flat area down in Coventry Street. Moved there, and then still you know, just being rat bags, just bombing heaps, but also DJing at the same time. Sort of starting to like do the house parties and things like that, and then I ended up moving. There was an ad for this studio space, so me and my mate who did the DJ course together, there was a studio space in Richmond in Coppin Street, and it was run by some art dudes and some graphers and some music guys there. And we went there, and we just like hired this like space. It was just like a room like this. No, it had a skylight, and
well, is it Safe House? Was it that one or a different joint?
It was Coppin Street Warehouse. There, that was the name of it. It wasn't. Yeah, so but there was a bunch of people who had a studio. Like New DMA had a studio there, and like I met a bunch of people who used to roll through there, like Pubes and all these guys used to roll through there, and there was. Another guy, Soup, editor from the band Miso, he used to have a studio there. There was all types of cool guys there. Another one of my really good friends there who ran it, Tim. So I met a whole bunch of... Now, I was like... That was the first place I moved out of home, so I was like 19.
Oh, so you weren't just using it for a studio space, you were living there too?
Yeah, well, it started as a studio, I was going there, and then they built... There was a bunch of people living there, like in lofts and things like that.
Yeah.
And then there was a squat downstairs with a bunch of other dudes, and then they built like there was like a room of the thing, and like basically I was just like, I'm just gonna move in here. Yeah. So I moved in there for like 6 months, and then it got knocked down. But it was like they had heaps of parties there. It was sick. There was like I met so many fucking crew through there. It was awesome.
It seems to be sad that most of those places do get knocked down because the only reason why they let creative heads take over is because they've got a demo clause on there anyway. They're like, we'll just get these kids in for now. Yeah. And if they fuck the joint, well, who cares? We're going to knock it down anyway.
No, totally.
That's why there's no longevity in that, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the Eureka Tower? Remember those giant bees that were on top of it? These giant, huge, like, sculpture bees. Yeah, anyway, the guy who built them were downstairs this warehouse. He was like this famous sculptor. I forget his name. Anyway, they used to be on top of the Eureka Tower. Yeah. But yeah, that was a really cool era of just being there for like sort of, I guess I was there for like, I had a studio there for about maybe 8 months and then moved in there. So it was kind of there for about 2 years. And that's when I met a bunch of dudes through a mate of mine who were like house DJs. Mm-hmm. Like DJ Tal and Dr. Sponk and a bunch of dudes who were playing at like Blue Bar and they were all sort of Escobar and all these like Chapel Street places and
before Blue Bar was full hip hop.
Yeah, it was. They did. I guess they did hip hop during the week, but yeah, it was like on the weekends it was all house and things like that, and and just through those guys I ended up getting a residency. Yeah, playing at another guy called Logan Baker from New Zealand. He was doing stuff around that time, and yeah, he Hans DC. Yeah. So he was he's still the resident, he's a legend. But he went away for like I don't know, it was like half a year or something, 6 months or something like that. He went away overseas, and then my mate got me to do his slot. And I was like 19.
At Blue?
No, at Revolver.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So it was like the first residency I had, and was at Revolver. It was like a bit
on
a Thursday doing the dinner.
He's still doing it now,
dinner set,
man.
And he's still doing it. Yeah.
I've done it once with him now.
yeah. And it was awesome coming there, and it'd be on vinyl and CDs, and just play for 2 hours from 6 to 8, and play for 2 hours while people were eating the Colonel Town.
Good food, man.
Yeah, awesome. It was awesome.
So the Bangkok Bolognese.
I haven't been there for a while, but. Yeah, it was such it was an iconic place to, I remember like a few years earlier, I was like, I'll never go there. It was like Sunday afternoon, people, rolling out the street looking fucked up. Yeah. There was like 14 or 15. I was like, what's going on? What is happening? Yeah. And then, 4 years later, I'm there every Sunday morning getting off my face. So, getting the membership at, Revolver's playing there, and I just rock up there any time of the, every weekend. And I used to be, so that's, Then I started playing, sort of lots of like hip hop side room parties in, like at house gigs. Yep. I'd have a hip hop side room and I'd play vinyl. And so that's where it kind of started playing around, and then get residencies at Lucky Cock, and then played. I was there for like 5 years at like Lucky Cock, played upstairs and downstairs. And then, and then just sort of doing that circuit, that, Friday to Sunday circuit. Only playing a little bit, but just partying mainly. Yeah. It's just three day benders. And stuff, yeah.
So the name, where did you pull your name from?
It's graph related. So yeah, I guess, Kodiak, I wouldn't say it, but yeah, you know what, there you go.
I can chop it out if you want.
You can chop it out,
sure.
Yeah.
And is it going to be, as you grow older, is the kid moniker?
Is a Kodiak man now? It's still kid, because I guess I still run around like a kid. I'm a big kid with responsibilities now, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah, always just be a bit of a rat bag.
So if we're on the chronological journey, it's like sort of late 2000s, early 2010 sort of thing. Is that where we'd be at if we're doing it from
So I guess it was 2006. Yeah, it's kind of when so we had like a whole bunch of good mates who had been Cinch and like Compact and all those guys and all the boys and we were all like, there was about 10 of us who were like really good mates. Really good friends. We'd hang out all the time, bombing, fucking getting wasted, going to house parties, doing dumb shit, skating together. And there's still about 3 or 4 of us who are, you know, from primary school who are still friends, who are in the crew as well.
Yep.
Riley and David, some of my best mates, and yeah, like still having, and then meeting a bunch, and then I had a mate from primary school who went to Sandy High, and I met a bunch of his mates.
A lot of riders there too, man.
A lot of riders there too. So it was kind of like we had that Sandringham connection to Prahran, that Sandy line, and then we were all, I guess, yeah, and then we had built up this friendship of groups. A friendship group from primary school to meeting some new people from Sandy about 14, and then some other people around Prahran Skate Park, and then it was just like this crew of people, and it was like you know, you should start a crew, and then it came up with like, it was like, you know, mates crew. It was like MC, so it came out there I think in like 2006. I remember being at the ESPY, and we were coming up with fucking different tags, like FC, like Friends Crew. I was like, nah, that's not very cool. And then it was like MC. I was like, it's like so many different words you can come up with. Mates Club, Mates Crew, Midnight Crusaders, Missing Children. There was lots of, you know, funny shit. And that was, it was at the ESPY, and just bombing the table, and then we came up with the crew name. And then we went on this massive bomb like through Fitzroy Street and just like trashed everything, and with our new crew name, and that was because we're all good mates. And it wasn't. I guess there wasn't as many crews around then who were all like real good mates. I guess there was a lot of crews. It was like just graph related. Everyone's like people who just get chucked into crews left, right, and center, you know, just because they had a good name or they were sick or whatever. But none of them were like. I don't think a lot of people were like actual really good mates. There would have been a few, but all of us, it was like everyone was just like best mates. So that's why I was like telling you, yeah. And we all still are. And even though people are still, you know, living different places and that, everyone we still try and catch up, you know, all the time. So
when with the DJing shit, man, at that time, music is changing a lot. What people are playing in clubs, all that sort of stuff, man. Like, dubstep starts to become like a thing, and all that sort of shit. There's different nights, you know, like there isn't just the commercial shit that sort of was there in the like early 2000s. Yeah,
totally.
And that opens up some doors for you, I'm guessing, because you're kind of on the verge of doing different shit already.
Yeah, totally. Because like when I was strictly hip hop. I was just like vinyl hip hop. I didn't like house music or techno. I was like, but then once I started going to the clubs with, you know, like Tal and all those kind of these older guys who were like killing it in the scene at that time, I just opened my eyes a bit to, you know, just like, you know, what was possible. But then got into, you know, dubstep and drum and bass because it was, you know, so drum and bass and it was so close to hip hop. And there was a club called Wobble. I don't know if you remember Wobble.
No, I remember.
Yeah. So Wobble, I was at the Night Owl, and that was a monthly night that happened. And yeah, we started going to that. That's when we started taking, you know, ecstasy and, you know, pills, you know, 17, 18, and then going and listening into drum and bass, you know, on, you know, real good pingers. You know, and
it was a good time for pills back then.
It was great. It was like, you know, the Carl William days or whatever. It was like
Red Mitzies,
White Hearts, and all that. Yeah. And it was just like, it was the best time to be an 18-year-old or 17.
It's so funny that the Red Mitzies they're like iconic. It was just for that couple of years.
Yeah.
But people still talk about them. There's like memes about them. It's a fucking like a full-on thing.
People still talk about like, when Carl Williams is around, like the feels is like everyone loves talking about those days. You know, there's some still good ones around these days, but not as consistent as back then. But
when I had Alec on from the Crave Collective, his job is to fucking make drugs for movies.
Yeah, right.
So he got like an official court-ordered. He could buy a pill press to make them for movies and that sort of thing.
Yeah, right.
It's fucking sick, man. Yeah, I know. For like Underbelly and all those sort of movies that need that shit. So that's crazy. Man.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, good time for pills back then.
Yeah. So that was, and then that was when I started collecting drum and bass and dubstep and, you know, like all the deep dubstep with hip hop. So I was playing I used to just play hip hop, you know, sets at drum and bass nights. I just started meeting people. There was like the sub bass crew who were putting on renegade parties in the parks, and met them through sort of the Night Owl days, and then ended up getting to put on my own night at Night Owls called Hoot This and the Night Owl. It sounds so stupid now. Hoot This, yeah. And then so it was being we had a bunch of mates and we did that every Friday. They didn't last very long. It was hard to run a weekly night and get people down there every Friday in the city.
Yeah.
But we did it for a few months. It was cool.
Yeah.
That was while Wobble was running. So yeah, Cubas from Wobble. He let me do that, and and that was just sort of from there. Being exposed, drum and bass, dubstep, hip hop. It just started to broaden my taste of, just sort of playing multi-genre sets, of that, and then
and people were willing to listen to it then as well.
Well, yeah, it was like that was it was it. It was either people were going to listen to house music, techno, or it was drum and bass and hip hop, and it's still kind of it's still like that. But yeah, it was like, but I just just obviously just kept going at it. Had the studio in Richmond or whatever. I just practiced, every day, just mixing tunes, and there's a couple other people
production there as well.
No, I didn't really. I bought an MPC when I was 19, 20, and I played around with it, chopped samples and things like that. I never really finished any, I made beats, but I never really finished anything or released anything.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really start taking production seriously until I was around 25, 26. Yeah.
When you just decided that DJing was where you wanted to go, but you had to take it to a different level, or what? How did that?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah, I guess just I was DJing a lot, and I guess just a lot of people I knew were making music, and I could see that you could only go so far with
it's hard
DJing, and I've done pretty well for DJing for playing most festivals around Australia, and just because I just sort of I have my own sort of unique sound of multi-genre.
It crosses over
over everywhere, and it's always got that roots of hip hop. And I can I can read dance floors quite well, and I can love playing party sets, and then also journey sets. It's always kind of a journey through lots of different genres. I just play what's good, really. What I think I can put in a set, I'll just put it in there.
Yeah.
I don't try and limit myself to just a dubstep set or a drum bass set. Even though I respect people who can do that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I love listening to people just play drum bass for 2 hours. I can, but yeah, I just get bored. So I'm just put it in there, just play that. There's so much good music out there.
For sure.
Just try and put it in there and play it, Especially if you're a DJ, it's as a DJ, it's you play, you're playing other people's music, so it's why not just play fucking everything?
That's it. You never get a bigger reaction from a crowd when you just totally change the genre up. People fucking lose their mind.
Yeah, because they're not expecting it.
Yeah,
they're just what? That's not what they. It's what they didn't know they wanted to hear at the time. They're just it was just on the weekend, just playing at a festival up in Mackay. It was this friend's festival arcade gathering, and played the closing set. And it'd been heavy electronic music all weekend. Drum bass and techno, psytrance, and all that. And then I played at the end, and I started playing a bit of bass music, and then I was I'm just gonna play some classic hip hop. I was it's the end of the party, and people were just loving it. It was just it was a switch up that people needed. It's it's
to wind down,
party, wind down, rather not so serious,
For sure.
Yeah.
So with the DJing, you started off strictly vinyl.
Yeah.
In the mid 2000s, Serato comes out, and all of a sudden that's a fucking game changer as well, man. And were you an early adapter to that?
Yeah, totally. So when that Coppin Street warehouse got knocked down and we all got kicked out of there, I ended up, there was another studio called Tetris Studios, which was run by DJ Wasabi, Wasabi and
I know him. Yep.
And Tanya, and which is called Ruby's Warehouse now, but they had a bunch of studios there. So then I, hired rented out a studio space there, and then a guy that who had a studio there, he introduced me to Serato. He's and he gave me his box, the SL1 box.
Yeah.
And I was, lugging vinyl around to Lucky Cock and Revolver for, 3-4 years, just CDs and doing that. And it was awesome. It was fun playing.
So you never fucked with the CDJs back then?
No, I did. Yeah. I learned how to use CDJs at Revolver. Because I just, they'd be there and I'd be all right, well, I don't have all the tracks on vinyl. I can only get so much, things on vinyl. I'd play. And then I'm cool. Because I started getting into a friend of mine, Stilly, he introduced me to people like Tipper. And that was this whole kind of glitch hop kind of sort of movement that I got into. and that really opened up to lots of different styles of, you know, sort of electronic, you know, another style of electronic, psychedelic electronic music. But yeah, it's the CDs. The CDs. Yeah, I was like burning CDs. You make like 10 tracks on a CD or 5, and then just put them in, and just play them at Revolver, and like they're not hard to use. They're easy. It's just like vinyl. It's just you just got a cue button, or you can put it on vinyl mode and put it in. But yeah, so I learned how to do it in clubs, and so I was bringing CD wallets and vinyl to the gigs and playing in between the both. You know, and I had quite a big collection of stuff, and you know, and then it was 2008 or 2009. Yeah. 2009 maybe when Serato, I don't know. I was late. I was probably maybe a couple of years late to Serato, but
I think I got an SL3 in 2009. So they must have been around for a bit
before that. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I reckon it would have come out in like 2006. I don't know. I can't remember. But that's it. Because they had Final Scratch Pro as well. They had that before Serato. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know about it, but yeah.
That was a big game changer because you got the aesthetics of playing vinyl. You got the feel, and you could stay busy on the decks, but you had the whole backup library fucking on your computer, man.
Yeah. And that totally. Yeah. It was just like, when I got it, I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. We just got everything here, and you can record mixes like a lot easier through the laptop. And then, that was, just, you know, I had the SL1 box for a long time. And then, I upgraded to SL4 box when that came out. Mm-hmm. And I've still got it, but now it doesn't work anymore because of a new laptop. Because it just discontinued the boxes. Like, you can't use them with the new because
Serato, it was Serato Scratch, and then it became Serato DJ.
Yeah, so if you have an old 2013 Mac or with I can't remember even the OS X on, but the latest things don't support the drivers for the boxes anymore.
Yeah,
but that's fine. It's kind of like you've got all these mixers now that have DVS control, and I just plug straight into, you know, Pioneer mixers, or I'll bring my Rain mixer with me, or I'll play on USBs. I'm pretty versatile. It's just sometimes I don't like being that guy that's like, oh yeah, I've got to bring move the CD. So with the turn, I'll just put USBs in, or I just always have backup. I'll bring timecode vinyl or USBs, and they're just ready for any situation.
What about the phaser thing?
And I use phase, So that's an insane game changer. Yeah, that's insane. Like, you can play at festival, like, because when I play at festivals, you know, you've got all sorts of you know wobbly tables and wind and the outdoor factor. Anything can happen. So when I play with needles and that, like, they'll just but with phase there's just no issue. I haven't had any problem with phase, like, unless as long as you keep up with the updates.
And that hooks straight into your Serato. It talks to Serato straight away.
Yeah, you can use it with anything, with Tractor or or Record Box or any of those ones. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But you can just plug it straight in. You can plug it straight into your DVS mixer. So it's just it's just like there's the latency. There's maybe you can't notice it.
Yeah.
You can scratch.
So it just goes USB receiver goes straight into the mixer, and then.
Yeah, or your laptop, or straight into the mixer. Yeah, either way. Depending if your new laptop, you don't have as many USB ports because those new laptops, now you got to have a USB-C hub and all that.
But that's the whole thing, man. I remember buying a laptop in 2016, a new Mac, and then it was only USB-C. And Serato it was only USB A or B.
Yeah, USB A to B.
And it's and even Pioneer, like those new fucking turntables, they never had the USB-C. The new 1200s, they never had the USB-C.
Yeah, it's kind of like this thing of like now you can have like the cable, the USB-B to C from the laptop. You just go straight into your laptop, but then you have to, if you got phase, it's like, well, if you don't have a DVS mixer, then you can't plug the phase in. Then you need a USB-C hub, and then to have the phase in, it's just like, so that's why a lot of the time when I go to gigs, I just bring everything because I'm just like, I don't know what is going to happen. Yeah. So fuck it, I'll just play even up in Queensland this weekend. Serato had ready to go HID mode where you can plug into the CDJs into the thing. And then it was like, it's bloody, it's 11:30 at night, it's freezing, And my mate's like, yeah, my laptop freezed up when I was like just importing tunes. I was like, fuck, I'm just putting USB in. I can't be bothered, you know. And it was fine. It was great. Like, yeah. I prefer to have turnies so I can do cuts and things like that. But you know, sometimes it's just But you know, you've got 4 CDJs there, for, you know, 1 USB. It's quite nice. Sometimes you just rock up with your headphones and a USB stick. Yeah. It's pretty good.
It's also an easy way to leave your USB somewhere as
well. Oh, I've done it many times, and I've left my MacBook charger fine heaps of times as well. Yeah. Like in the last 2 years, like it was just like, you know, get drunk, and then I'm just like, where's my laptop charger? I've got everything else, and then that's, you know, $140 or something.
Expensive,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So with the festival stuff, you sort of talked about it. Do you remember when you kind of made that transition from the club shit straight like into the bigger festivals, and like that must be pretty fucking fun time to play as well, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so doing, you know, a bunch of clubs and meeting a bunch of a lot of the dudes in the techno scene. They were doing, I think it was a subsonic music festival was the first, first festival that I played at, and that was in Sydney, and that was 2009. So playing around with all the guys in the Chapel Street scene, Mixed Messages and all those guys, candy bar parties and things like that. Got invited to play like in between the bands, like on the main stage, and I was still doing vinyl as well. And then travel up to Sydney, and you know, just get up there and they just give you accommodation and you know, and that's kind of where it started. Yeah, playing at the Subsonic, and then started going to Rainbow, 2010.
Yep.
And then going there every year. We had a crew and we'd all go there. And then
has it changed? Do you reckon?
I mean, you know, it changed. I mean, so it was sort of. I mean, it stopped in 2020 because of the bushfires, and I was pretty heavily a part of the crew. Actually, it's in the stages of coming back.
Yep.
But it's going to be a full reset. But it got to like 20,000 people at one point, and you know, obviously the crowd's going to change. You know, people doing the music bookings, you know, sort of, it's like people sort of just maybe drop the ball on what's new or just keep booking the same kind of things. But the crowd just got younger. But I don't know. People who they go to festivals and they're like, oh, I don't like all these young kids wearing bondage gear, or they're wearing nothing at all. It's like, just don't look or don't go. Like, shut the fuck up. You know, it's like, I hate jaded people who go to festivals like, oh, the crowd's changed. It's like, well, you don't have to, you know, it's always going to happen. You know, when you get to like 20,000 people, it's going to, but before that, so started going in 2010. And that's when, I don't know if you've heard of Opio. Mm-hmm. He was like, he when he came on the scene, that's when and I'd sort of heard of like Spoonbill and Tipper and all these like really kind of glitchy, wonky electronic artists. And then he kind of came on the scene and just blew up and had this sound, this mid-tempo, 100 BPM fucking, you know, sound, glitch hop sound, and that just sort of changed it all for me as well. Just like, you know, just like seeing that sound and, you know, just like people, you know, like getting down to this new style of music. They've been around for a bit, but just him having his own sound.
But most festivals before that, it's like it's pretty much a fast tempo dance kind of thing. You know what I mean?
And I was never into psytrance or anything like that. I didn't know. I was at clubs. I was in drum and bass and going to house techno drum and bass clubs and hip hop. Mm-hmm. So when I went to Rainbow, that was the first time I heard like things like psytrance and things like that, 2010 and like glitch hop and. Like, you know, all these, you know, and then all these, like, music I hadn't heard before, like down tempo and all this, and it was just like, it was a whole new thing of, just
and
like
chill out areas, which weren't really happening like in a lot of festivals, you know, in the early
days. Totally. I mean, there was Earthcore. I never went to Earthcore. I always missed. Everyone was like, I think that was the first one of the original Bush stuff. Spirit. A few, you know, didn't. Butted heads with him. A lot of people butted heads with him, you know, down the years. Rainbow changed it. So I went there for like 3 years and then got my first set. I played every year and then got my first set 2013 and then pretty much played every year from 2013 to 2019. And now it's just, you know, when COVID happened, they had to bushfire happened, then it got cancelled, and then they lost heaps of money, and then their permit fucking got expired, and now it's just there's a whole new world of red tape and things with councils and things. It's hard to, you know, and festivals are struggling.
Big time,
big festivals too. And all, but it's kind of like going full circle now. It's like there's so many kids in Melbourne that are starting their own sound systems. There's so many crews who used to come to our parties, who are all DJs now, and it's like full circle, and they've got their own parties going on, and there's smaller and
underground parties are coming back.
It's coming back, yeah. It's kind of good. These big festivals like Splendor in the Grass and things like, you know, they're just, you know, they had Kylie Minogue was like one of the headliners.
And they wondered why it was flopping. Man.
Yeah, you know, it's like, you know, Kylie Minogue was great back in the day, but like, well, who wants to go see Kylie Minogue now? Like, not 18-year-olds from fucking Byron Bay. But yeah, but these big festivals, like, you know, it's a shame. I've played at Splendor in the Grass, and it's a great festival. Like, there's lots of good music there. But yeah, I think it's good now. It's like people used to be able to afford to go to 4 festivals a year. They go, and then, you know, like, and now people have to choose one, you know, one, maybe 2. And it's expensive, you know, $400 or $500 a ticket, plus all your party supplies and your food and drinking and travel and everything. Yeah. It's a lot of money. So now there's a lot of parties going back to, like, you know, 1 stage, 2 stages, 1,000 person, 500 to 1,000 person. And now there's free park parties in Melbourne and everywhere. So yeah, it's good. It's actually, and the clubs are starting to, you know, it's just thriving again. It's just kind of gone full circle, I think.
It is. It needed a reset.
It needed a reset. And I think, like, you know, with the whole COVID thing, like, for me, I had a great time. I was getting paid by the government to make tunes for 2 years. I loved it. Like, it was, you know, a lot of people didn't have that luxury, but I just made the most of it. It was great.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was, I'd almost go back to it, to be honest. I was like, now it's like, I'm going to go back to work and just like, you know, it's like, now it's just like the real world again. And now everyone's broke again. It's like, you know, I don't know, yeah.
I like the fact
I had a good time, yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that a lot of people sort of realised that working 9 to 5 was a bad idea.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I knew that already, but other people figured it out.
Well, yeah, totally. And a lot of people started working from home, and people changed careers.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people's relationships fucking broke up, or people changed careers. A lot of people lost it, and it was a fucked up time for a lot of people. But I also felt like it was kind of like a reset that we kind of secretly needed, to be honest. Yeah, like, you know, in you know, some parts.
It's hard.
It's hard. You know, I speak to many people. It's like, nah, you know, it's fine. I was like, I understand all of it. It was a fucking weird.
It broke a lot of people, man. Like,
totally.
Some businesses.
And a lot of people lost their businesses and their homes, and so, you know, I can talk from place because I rent, and I don't own any businesses, and I'm just making tunes for, you know, and people are like, oh, didn't you miss playing gigs? I was like, nah. I don't miss playing gigs.
But the gigs will come back.
They come back. Like, yeah. It's like, now it's nice to just chill at home and just fucking make tunes and just fucking hang out.
Everyone's fucking journey of that whole thing was different. Some people liked it. Some people hated it. Yeah. Some, you know, like, it was everyone was different. You know?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I felt for people who would live by themselves, or people who had businesses, and, you know, just not having people to a network or friends to fucking hang out with, or you know, shit time. Yeah, it's like half shit, half good. Anyway, I like free money too.
That's it, but it's changed people's working and mentality.
That is true, though.
Like, I think a lot of people that were just working, you know, that's all they did, and they were career orientated. They decided, oh man, maybe I want to spend more time with my family. Maybe I do want to go move somewhere else.
Totally, yeah.
And that's what the positive was.
Yeah, there was a lot of positives and a lot of negatives. You know, you can't deny it. It was, you know, there was a lot of negatives and then a lot of positives.
It happened though.
It happened. It just feels like, did it happen? Well, it was so long ago. I know, it's so weird to think.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll stop talking about that shit.
But that's when you started to hone your production stuff more, because you're at home and you were doing it?
Yeah, so I write, during that, in 2020 when it all got locked down, and I was like, fuck. And then, Henry Discourse they started this quarantine samples challenge.
Yep.
And that was cool, and then everyone would put up a sample, and then everyone had to, like, flip it within the day, you know, and it was kind of like this thing. It was just like everyone would put it up on Instagram. and post a video of the tune, and like everyone, and then it was just kind of like this cool community of like starting to connect with other, you know, hip hop producers and other producers through the, you know, through the Instagram, through the pages, and it was awesome.
At least at that stage, there was the internet and people were doing things online. Imagine that whole thing happened before the fucking internet.
We'd all be dead. Yeah, totally.
But there was a lot of people doing that sort of stuff, you know. Yeah. People doing all sorts of different competitions and shit that just made people like create more, which was cool.
The live streaming, you know, and like that was cool. Like people would do live stream in the house, and people would get onto Twitch and start their own Twitch accounts, and everyone would be talking in the chat rooms. We'd have ones where like, cause there was like, you know, there's that 5 kilometer radius bullshit thing. So, but we had a bunch of mates who lived in the area, and we would just go hang out and just get cooked and just play on the internet, and just everyone would get and party in. It was awesome. It was awesome for like, you know, the people that were, you know, too scared to break the rules or whatever, things like that, you know, things like that. But people got to just like have a party in their lounge room and talk with their mates online and get pissed and just watch mates DJ and shit. It was a good little time. It was cool. But yeah, that whole quarantine samples thing was, that was cool. I made so many good, you know, beats through that, because you had to like kind of force yourself to like, do it, and then do it quick, because everyone else was super quick. Like Discourse, he'd come up with he'd do a video of his stuff. He's got drone footage. I'm like, oh come on, man! I'm just like got my iPhone trying to film me, just like pressing play on the machine or something. But yeah, but you force you to just like just do something, and then everyone made really good beats, and I've got lots of music from that I'm gonna release soon.
Cool.
Just from those minute beats that we made, and just like it was just like 2 years of that, 2020, 2021. That was some of my favorite parts of the whole, you know.
And when you started to make your own music, because you're rooted in hip hop, but you cross many genres. So were you like, I'm gonna just make whatever kind of music I'm feeling at the time?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's all the music I make. It's like the first sort of EP that I released in 2019. It's all instrumental hip hop based. You know, it's hip hop. I work with MCs as well, but it's definitely been in the electronic, you know, bass music scene. I cross over a bit into, you know, like a bit more heavy bass, but it's all hip hop inspired. But yeah, definitely from my first EP, which I released, to now, the stuff that I'm making is like, it's still hip hop, but it's just more bass heavy. It's like before it was quite lo-fi, and I still sample records, but it was my production's just gotten way better in the last sort of 4 years through COVID. And
still using the same MPC?
No, I got rid of the MPC years ago. I didn't have the patience for it. I just got lost in mixing and DJing. So that's kind of, I focus on the career of DJing rather than making music. When I got the MPC when I was like 18.
Yeah.
And then I got a machine when I was like, and I got Logic, and I started playing around that when I was like sort of 23, 24.
And you've been machine since.
And then I've been machine since, yeah. So I make beats on machine, and then I mix it and refine it in Logic. And I dabble with Ableton a little bit sometimes, but it's mostly machine and Logic, yeah.
And you just think machine works better for you?
I love it because it's just hands on. I can do everything with my hands. So I'm pretty slow with computers. So it's like, it takes me a while to, you know, I can, you know, work with Logic. I know most around Logic, but I can do everything with my fingers. I can drum in, you know, I can play melodies, I can play bass lines, I can play and then drum in, and then you don't have to touch the computer really. Yeah. You can do everything with all the shortcuts and the buttons on the machine. Standalone, yeah, but it's got a, you know, now they've got a standalone one. But yeah, it's just prefer than clicking a mouse and programming with the mouse. It's just like, I like doing it, yeah. Come up with ideas way quicker anyway.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so, where do the Posse Shot guys come into it?
Well, they're Kyle and Ben and MC as well. Yeah. So they came in later. Sort of like maybe halfway through, and we met Kyle, who was skating. Met Kyle skating through some other mates. Came down from Swan Hill, and then Benny, Benny, Muscles. Yeah, they like met him actually through the warehouse days, and just we all sort of got along, and then they kind of got into the crew around like I don't know, I can't even remember. It's sort of maybe 2011-ish, sort of a couple of years later. Or not even that far, maybe it was a couple of years later.
Yeah.
We started in 2006, and then it was probably about 2008, 2009, they came in, jumped in, and a few more people got added into the crew.
Yep.
We were hanging around, but yeah. So then they were, Muscles will always be fucking in your ear at house parties, fucking rapping. We'd be doing, all the time. He'd always be rapping, and Kyle was always making beats, but and he was making beats like for ages, always just making beats, and then they just they started living together, and it's kind of sort of when Jordan died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was gonna bring up at some stage. But
yeah.
Do you? Okay. Well. Yeah. You're
we
wearing
can
this,
go into it. We can talk a little bit about it. Yeah.
So you're wearing this shirt. Obviously, he was a big part of the crew, and that was obviously you're close to him, but that was a must be a pivotal moment in your life.
Yeah, it was a pivotal moment for the whole crew because we kind of all just it was kind of like the end of MC. Basically, it was not like for a little bit. It was just sort of like he was the glue. Like we were like best mates in high school. From like he was one of my best friends, but it was sort of when that happened. Everyone, we were all together. Everyone was mourning together for a while, and then people decided to sort of just drop off a bit. Someone had mate had kids, and then moved up to Cairns, and then someone else moved to the coast, and then people just started doing different things because it was kind of like that was the thing. It was sort of he was the glue, and it was kind of it all do everything together, and like that was kind of when everyone started to sort of just start to do their own things, and Posse Shot that's when they started to kick things off more heavily after he died. And they started doing things together, and then they've come so far, and like they just it's awesome. And then it's only been sort of recently the last couple of years where they're just like they've played a few shows and stuff, and they're like, well, it makes sense that you should fucking be our DJ because we're fucking crew. So so we've played quite a few shows together, done some tours and things like that. So, it's 10 years ago this year that he died.
Yeah.
So every year we meet up and we have a bit of a sesh, but we all still hang out when we can. But everyone lives in different areas now because everyone lived around the Balaclava, St Kilda, or Windsor, Prahran sort of area.
For sure.
Yeah.
I know obviously it's a horrible thing to happen, but do you think it helped some people because it kind of pushed them onto the right track a little bit? I mean, I don't know. Like it's no one was really on bad track. Like we were all pretty good dudes. Like no one was like heavily into drugs or a lot of. I mean, I'd probably all still be graphing heavily. Yeah.
If I wasn't doing music stuff, I would be full time. I'd be just bombing. I'd be doing graph. So maybe it is a good, people sort of slow down on the graph thing, and it can't always fucking last forever, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we wish it didn't happen, but it definitely brought a lot of us closer together. Also, definitely brought us closer together with his older brothers too, which I knew since I was really young. But the whole crew, it really brought them closer together with his best friends, because they're his brothers, but them getting to connect with us.
Yep.
So that's been a really, pretty awesome, beautiful thing to just, have that better connection with, his older brothers as well. Yeah,
Nick's my age, and I've known him for a long time.
Yeah, Nick, Nick as well, and Michael, and so it's just sort of it's good to connect, and it gives them, it gives them some closure and some, just like hope, and just like to know that he had such good friends, and he gets to have that connection through Jordan, because imagine he didn't have any of these friends, and they would sort of, he gets to see Jordan through us, when we hang out all the time.
Yep.
So that it gives them, just a little bit more fucking shit, cheers them up a fucking bit more,
But man, he's still up a lot, and there's a lot of cinch tags around. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
totally. Yeah, man. It was. That was the thing when you go out with him, you felt invincible. When you got we never got caught, never got done. Man, I can't believe I've been done once, but not for my word, but just the red hotness, the spots that he used to do, it was just crazy, and just get away with just murder, just daylight freeway spots, just fire extinguisher shit, just walking around daytime and just doing the most blazing shit, and just walk around and no one ever say anything.
Yeah. For sure,
it was great. Yeah, I mean, but he was still up, and he's still up everywhere, and just even the funeral there was so many people came. It was a public thing, and it was at the church where we went to high school, and just the community that came out was it was insane. I don't know how many people there was. It was a lot. It was 1,000. I don't know. It was but it was just the effects that he had on the city, and us, as friends, and
in a short span of time,
it's he died when he was 25. It was so young, and I can't believe it was 10 years ago. It's wild, from 14, I knew him since I was 14. He was the first person I met at high school, and we just kicked it off, and we used to hang out every day and skate, and he used to skate too. It was a pretty crazy time.
Want to have a little break, man?
Yeah.
Let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
You briefly touched on working with the Posse Shot guys and your DJing for them a little bit as well. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? And it must be fucking pretty insane kind of live gigs with those dudes.
Oh man, it's insane. Yeah, and it's so awesome. After Jordan died, and everyone sort of everyone still stays in contact. Everyone's moving on with their lives, doing different things. Everyone's got their own businesses, kids, and things like that. But we all still make a good effort to meet up, and so they were just they've been playing a bunch of shows, and released their albums and that, but they sort of hadn't really had sort of a consistent sort of DJ who did all the shows. They would sort of just get someone from every city, and they're like, makes sense, we should do things together, DJ for us. Because we're crews, so we did two. We did Geelong and Ballarat, and did Adelaide, and done a few cool we did some Canberra shows.
You did the Canberra one. That looked crazy.
That was probably one of the best weekends of my life, and then of our lives. It was because it was just skating, and we all love skating. Kyle's a great skateboarder. We all grew up skating, and Ben dabbled as well, and just going to the skate parks, and just playing this show on that. I don't know if you saw footage of it.
I saw it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on that big the truck was called the Funk Defender, or the Defender of Funk style Defender of Style truck. And this guy got a grant for it. Yeah, in Canberra, he got and it's an ex-military vehicle, and it was he got an 80 grand grant from the council in Canberra to turn it into a music, a live truck, and it's got a state of the art, it's got an acoustic sound system on it. It's got a crazy lighting rig and processors in it. Yeah, it's sick. And we rolled in that, and we played on that to it's the whole. That was because they had the skaters that go through Canberra, and they do all these street spots for cash money prizes, and then at the end they just had it in this in this parking, the back of a office building space, in the back of all these it was back of a skate shop, record store, and that was the green room. It was these guys had it was this mad skate little record store, and they blocked off just this alleyway, and they had a fun box in the middle of a rail, and everyone was just going for tricks, and it was it was all ages. And
it's got to be the coolest thing to happen in Canberra.
Oh man, I was Canberra's sick. We couldn't even do this in Melbourne. And I was and then we played on this truck, and and it was just and not many of the the crowd sort of knew who like we were, the Posse Shot were. There was a band you played earlier, but by the end of the show, everyone was like, everyone was dripped head to toe in Posse Shot gear. And that's the thing, man. The merch game that goes going is so strong.
Smash it, man.
Like, every gig, it's just like pumping it out. And at the skate park, he's just like everyone. You just like all these pro skaters. Everyone's wearing Posse Shot. And
because was it Zion Wright and those dudes there, like for that, or was that a week? No,
yeah, so they had. It was kind of. It was over 2 days. So they had the first night was like when we played, and then they had the street comp. But then they had the Belco Bowl was the next day, and they had like a bunch of like they had a rail that was coming down. They had the bowl comp, and that was just like it was crazy. Like it was just skating around and skating and just pissing on with all the skaters and like meeting all the new skaters that I'm not up to date with.
Yeah.
But Kyle and that are like they're super entrenched in like the new skate scene and everything because it's just like that's why they're so they're popular because they're for the fans, they're for the culture. They talk to the fans, they get like it's all personal level. They get involved, they talk to people. It's like a lot of big acts wouldn't even spend the time of day and like hang out with their fans.
Full-time job though, man.
It's a full-time job. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. Like they get bum rushed a lot. Like, but it's cool though. Like it's like the fans are good and the crossover between like the hip hop and like they're doing shit with speed metal and these shows like heavy and the crossover is like. It's like heavy metal hip hop. But it's all positive. Like there's never any really fights that break out. Like not really. Like you think it's mosh pitting the whole time, but it's all super good vibes. Like it's great. And then you're on stage, and it ends up being like everyone on stage can't see anything. It's just people on stage, and I've never seen a fan base like this before for hip hop. Like you've got your big acts and who have big ticket numbers, but for fans who are, you walk down the street with a t-shirt and someone get the money up, and then I go to festivals, go to Duffs, I play all these festivals, I rep the shit, and someone's at festivals, and I was like, get the money up, and it's like everywhere, it's nuts, it's nuts.
It's crazy. I wore mine to a basketball game or something, like just a Posse Shot t-shirt, and then dudes are just yelling at you from the distance, like get the money up.
Yeah, totally. It's just awesome to be a part of it, and it's good. I'm glad that we're reconnected through music again. Before, with Graph and good friends, and now reconnecting through music, and it's great. It's awesome to be a part of their journey as well. So, and they've been a part of my journey since I started DJing. When I was 18, and they were coming to all my gigs and all my shows and things like that. So
for sure,
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I think any young musician who wants to make a go of it should use those guys as a template that you can put in the work and build a fan base and start from the bottom and fucking build this up and they'll grow with you, man.
Totally, yeah.
And they've essentially fucking created an army of fans.
Yeah.
By interacting with them and doing Discord shit and all that sort of stuff.
Totally, man. Yeah. Just
it's building a community.
It is, yeah, and that's what they're about. That's what it's just community, it's culture, it's and it's like Melbourne, like it's just all just. Yeah, people relate. These kids relate to it because it's that's what we do is like skating and BMX riding and just anything that's like extreme sports to graph to skateboard. Everything. It's just it's great. Yeah.
Have you talked about doing some production and stuff with those guys, or are you just
every now and then? If I'll get some beats, but I mean I don't know, man. Carney's he's just a whiz on the beats. I don't think he needs my beats, but but I've got some stuff lying around. I'll definitely. I'll swing it their way at some point. But they got their thing going on, And loved it DJing for them, And the last gig at the Canberra gig, I got super involved. It was good because not many. Usually people, on this stage of Revolver, like the Geelong show was nuts. That was crazy.
Did you do the Melbourne one at Flinders? That place in
Flinders?
Flinders?
Did that one,
That looked crazy, man.
That was crazy, but the Geelong one, and Ballarat, not Ballarat, no, so Bendigo was really good, but Geelong, they had this guy in a wheelchair, and they pulled him up, and he was up, and they brought him to the front, and like that was, I think, even that whole tour. I didn't do the whole tour. I just did the regional and the Melbourne, but they still reckon that the Geelong one had it was just like the vibes. It was wild. Yeah. But the Canberra one, because it was on a truck, no one could really get up Like people would jump up and just do flips into the crowd. People like the last guy did it. He flipped in. I could just hear his feet was just like hitting people in the face. I could hear it on stage. People just get footprints in their face. Yeah. But it was good. I just got involved as well, just jumping on stage and getting on the mic and stuff. Like it was good, just getting real involved in it. So
for sure.
Super fun, Yeah.
Do you want to do any other tour DJing for other? Is there anyone else that you potentially would be doing?
Don't know. Like I used to. You had Donnie Alicore on the show.
Yep.
But I used to. Yeah. So
lovely dude, man.
Oh, legend, man. Yeah. So yeah, like I met him through my mum. She went to doing a acting school at Swinburne.
Yeah.
I was like year 7. I was like 13 or whatever. Met
when
him.
It was in Prahran.
When it was in Prahran, Swinburne. Yeah. They went to school together, yeah, and I kind of stayed in contact with him. And then I was going to PCYC, going to the gym. Mm-hmm. It was funny. We used to go.
When it was $2 to go.
Yeah, it was $2. You go there and then you'd smoke a big joint afterwards. So I was like, I don't think this is working, but you go there. But yeah, we used to go to the gym, and I met him, connected through the gym again, and then we connect. Yeah, we just he asked me to DJ once for him, and then we did some shows, man. Yeah, I was like his official DJ for a good few years.
Yeah.
And yeah, we supported. We did like Jurassic 5, and that was at the Metro.
Yep.
And Burke Street.
Yep.
Or the Palace. It's the Palace. No. The Palace. Well, it used to be called the Metro and Palace.
It was the Metro.
That was we played 2 shows in a row, Jurassic 5, and like we opened for it. It was us, and then it was Total Eclipse, and that was insane. Like that was like we got some crazy supports. Like we did like Atmosphere and Cool Keith and Souls of Mischief and
Cool Keith was the Metro as well.
Yeah, well that one was at SB, the one we did, but yeah. And we did some really awesome shows and did his album launch, and and it's good to see him. He's doing another album now with 7-6, and that was really good. We did lots of youth gigs as well, and me and Donnie go way back.
Yeah, I did a little bit of emceeing for them for their listening party at Union Heights the other day.
Yeah,
and he even had his daughters on a couple of the tracks as well. Man.
Yeah,
so it's cool.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. Yeah, he's done. Yeah, it's like his 5th album. Yeah, he's been around, and he's done some really cool shit. Always good timing.
I think the launch party for the album we would have missed that. I was going to give him a plug for that. But
it's coming up. He said he's doing it in July.
Oh, so it's July 13.
July, because the album comes out, I think it's maybe this week or soon.
But we got to remember that we're going to be releasing this in a few weeks.
Right, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Well, we'll go to the show. Anyway.
July 13 at Revolver.
I think, yeah. He rang me up about it, and he's like, because I had him and Jason Pliers, Cerberus 3. I had them support my EP launch at Howler.
Sick.
Yeah, in 2019.
Yep.
I had them when they did that first album, and had them open for me.
Yeah, so cool to see that those guys, because they're kind of like all different generations.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Totally, yeah, it's really really cool. Yeah, that was a fun night down at Howler. That was my first EP and sold out Howler. It was a good feeling.
How many tickets is
it? 400.
That's good, man.
Yeah, man, it was great. Yeah, and I had Mantras on one of the tracks, and we performed that live, and Elf Transporter, and then did like a set, like played all of the album sort of live, and then it's like 5 tracks, and then just kind of did a DJ set after it, and then had a bunch of support acts DJ and had them play.
For sure.
Yeah, it was really good. So
good venue, Howler.
Yeah, it's great, man. Yeah. So yeah, I've had a bunch of releases since then, some singles and some EP singles and remixes and things come out, and sort of working on an album now for next year. Yeah. So full length album.
Full album.
Yeah. Probably, yeah.
You're gonna press it up?
Definitely. Yeah. I had my first EP was vinyl, so had that. So did 150 of them, and that was really nice. Sold them and put them in some record stores, and so now I'll do it again. I'll do vinyl again. Yeah, for sure.
And what direction is this taking musically? Like, are you gonna something different?
Yeah, it's still hip hop, like instrumental hip hop. Got a bunch of like guests sort of features, some maybe a few MCs, and then sort of it's kind of like a mix between instrumental and some
sample based instrumental,
sample based, and also like synth, a lot of synth as well. Yeah, it's just the production stepped up a lot. It's just a lot more. The production's better, and it's still on that sort of hip hop tip. It's still kind of like in that, like Hermitude and like Plutonic Lab. They're all like big inspirations of mine. Mm-hmm. It's kind of on that kind of tip, but just with a bit more sort of modern production, I guess. Yeah. But still a lot of samples as well.
When you create instrumental hip hop, do you think, I want this to be instrumental, or do you think of it? Do you make it and think, I want people to rap on this? You know?
Yeah, it's weird. Like when I sit down and make music, I just make it, and then either a lot of the time I don't make stuff with vocalists in mind. Okay. I just make beats. So I guess it's kind of like sometimes I look at it as making it for dance floors. So when I play when I'm playing at festivals, like I play such a range of different, styles of, music from 140 to drum and bass to, trappy stuff and breaks and things like that. So it's kind of like when I make, hip hop stuff, it doesn't always translate well onto, it's not always for dance floors. Mm. It's more listening, or sometimes it works depending if it's like a chill out set or something like that. But when I make, I guess it's kind of it'll just. Sometimes my beats will sit there, and then maybe for a couple of years, and then someone will roll through, a MC or someone, and then there's a whole EP there because I've got beats there, and they like the beats. Yep. They kind of they just come naturally. There's the Rapper Tag 24 I did with Joe Snow. Yep. And we've got a whole EP of music together, but it was kind of like we made a bunch of tunes in the studio. And then he's like, "Oh, can we use this beat for the Rapper Tag?" I was like, "Yeah, sick."
So there's a new Rapper Tag, 2024.
Yeah, they did. Well,
no, that was last year.
Last year, yeah. It was last year.
And Nerve did the first one.
Nerve did the first one, yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it was kind of like it kind of dropped off after us and Peace Murph. It kind of dropped off a bit. There was a bunch of it was some new people that sort of got put in, and it kind of just didn't go the direction that it went the first time. Yeah.
First time was awesome, man.
Yeah, it was awesome, yeah. But our track did really well. Like we got it was some good views on YouTube, and we just released it, and we got a bunch of stuff as well. So we're gonna have a whole EP together, and he's got an album coming up. We've got some production on that as well. But it's kind of all the stuff with MCs just happens organically. Just like Peace Murph. Mm-hmm. We've got a track together, and it's just people around, and I'll be like send people beats, and then it just kind of happens automatic. I'm not, I guess like I'm pretty particular with who I'm going to give my beats to. Yeah. I'm not like a producer. I'm just sit in the studio. I'm just like sell beats.
You'd rather work with
I'd rather work with them in the studio. Doesn't have to be someone I know, but like it's better. I'd rather have it like, I'd rather the beats go to a good home rather than sell my beats to some average rapper, it's like, it's your production. It's like, because I play music out and I'm a DJ and a performer, I want to be able to play that stuff out and people recognize it rather than, because you spend a lot of time making beats, but I'm not a throwaway, people who just pump out 100 beats a day. That's not my thing. Yeah. But like, it's an awesome way to, make a living. If you're not a performer, if you're not, wanting to be a DJ or a performer, then that's a sick way to, just make beats day and just, you could sell them for $500 a beat and you'd be fucking killing it, and just whoever's got them, and you're not attached to them because it's like, your producer name, but like that's your thing, But
where do you see music sort of going in the next couple of years? Like, do you see the trajectory that it's taking? Do you like where it's going? Where do you see it going?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going really well. I mean, it's drum and bass is still really big, and hip hop's I feel like coming full circle again as well. There's so many new rappers and female also DJing. There's so many heaps of female acts and DJs and artists now. It's almost 50-50 with the when I book shows, when I promote shows. Like a few years ago, people were like, "Oh, you need more, diversity on your lineup." I'm like, it's not because I don't want to; it's because there's not enough to choose from, and not enough ones that that I think that I don't book shit fucking male DJs.
Just to balance it out.
I'm not going to book some chick just because she's a chick, because they got to be good. Like same as the guys. But now like it's awesome. There's like it's just like it's almost 50-50 with there's so many awesome new women, like MCs and hip hop and DJs. And now I'm just like sick. I'm gonna book you, and there's like new people to play. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's going really well. Yeah.
What are you booking for in the future? Can you tell us a bit about what else is coming up?
Yeah, well, I've got like the monthly home base night that I've been running for about it's close to 8 years now, and that's at Bar 303 Northcote. I don't know if you know that spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been doing that once. It's the last Saturday of every month. So we usually book like 2 or 3 DJs. It goes from 8:30 to 1 a.m. And yeah, we just book like either drum and bass or hip hop. Sometimes it's live hip hop, or like dubstep DJs or breaks or. So yeah, we're always just on the hunt booking new. We always usually book a month in advance, and it's a free party. So it's sort of free.
Run for 7 years, man. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it used to be like $10, $15, but then we get a lot of walk-ins there. So, not every month it's going to be busy. So we made it free, and we've got a good sort of relationship with the bar owner there, and so we just make it free. You sign up online for free, and then you have to get in before 10 p.m. and your free ticket is valid. But if you come after, it's not free anymore. It's like you pay $10 just to get people down there, really.
Yeah.
And to support like the opening acts and things like that. Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, we've got this month we've got some good acts, Sugar Bass and it's like Rita Bass and Brown Sugar Princess and Skank and Serenes, and it's a predominantly female lineup. It's just worked out that way. So it's just like everyone. So we just kind of book things well in advance and see who's available, and everyone's saying that all these guys were available. So it's like, all right, cool. But yeah, that's going well. It's quite well. It's got a good following.
For sure.
Yeah.
Tell us what else is on the horizon for Kodiak Kid coming up, man, in the next sort of 12 months or so.
Just I've got a bunch of releases. An EP with a sort of producer from the States, Mad Zach. He's based in Berlin. So we've got an EP, which is on his label. It's kind of like a 3-track sort of concept EP, sort of sample based, kind of like trip hoppy kind of EP. Got some singles and some compilations, some friends compilations, and gonna do some free download things on SoundCloud.
Yep.
Just to try and get
SoundCloud's still where it's at.
SoundCloud's great, man. My SoundCloud's great. Like it's always the community on SoundCloud is awesome. People listen to mixes on there, and people can comment, and they can repost, and they can things like that. SoundCloud's always been. I reckon it's like the best place, to put your music up.
Yep.
A lot of people use it, and then obviously sell your music on Bandcamp is obviously the best as well.
Because it went through a stage where people weren't using it as much to put their mixes up because of copyright thing.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of went into it.
Yeah, it kind of went. Yeah. But now it's come back again, and you can do that. And Mixcloud's quite good. I've got all my stuff on Mixcloud as well, but I don't really use it. I don't think. It's kind of people use SoundCloud or they use Mixcloud, but Mixcloud's not as. But now with Mixcloud, you can do. If you pay for your Pro subscription, you don't have any copyright for streaming. So Twitch. Oh. Now Twitch, live, it's fine, but when it replays, it edits out all your copyrights. It blanks out all the audio for tracks. But Mixcloud, it doesn't have that problem as long as you pay for your Pro account, which is, I don't know, $200 a year.
Or something.
Probably, yeah. So $200 a year, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
So then you can have a streamer, and it stays up, and there's no copyright. Which is great. And then the money's going. So that's cool for Mixcloud for live streaming for things like that. But yeah, SoundCloud is usually always put music up on there, mixes sets on there. It's where most people know where my music is. But yeah, and then working on an album. So I'm halfway through it, and then just sort of finishing, tinkering around with other songs, and maybe getting some guests, some more vocalist features on there, and just putting it all together and see if it flows.
Yeah.
And then just keep building. I'm just trying to make as much music as possible until I put it in as a package and
And still doing the DJ stuff at the same time.
Yeah, playing lots of gigs. Yeah, this year's been I play interstate quite a bit. Yeah, like I play in Queensland more than I do in Melbourne because it's warmer up there and there's lots of people that throw parties
Cold
up there.
today.
Yeah. I mean, it was cold up there, just recently. But yeah, lots of festivals, small festivals and bigger festivals up there. And
if people want to book you, how do they hit you up, man?
It's like Instagram, so Kodiak Kid Beats, or my emails, corykodiak@gmail.com.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's sort of, you can get it. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming in for the chat. And
thanks for having me.
It'd be good to talk later on next year when you've had your album and where you're at, man.
Yeah, man, definitely. That'd be awesome. Okay, man.
Thanks for coming, dude.
Thanks for having me, dude. Cheers. We good.
3,000.